I would like to simply explain what is arguably the most important aspect of Western civilization, and that is the value of the individual as sovereign and deserving of respect and dignity. Now, we have not always lived up to these ideals. I understand that. People love to point that out. But that is essentially our mission statement, and we have overcome many obstacles in spite of that fact. One of the most quoted lines that people use when they refer to the political philosophy that is the United States is all men are created equal, endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights, life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. Most of us know it. And people will love to point out that women aren't mentioned in that statement. That is not a legal document, but it's such a powerful statement that we repeat it. We believe it in our hearts. It is our mission statement. And we have not lived by it perfectly, no, but it has been what has guided our civilization. It is what has allowed us to become the people who we are and enjoy the lifestyles that we've enjoyed. And it has given us the influence, the privilege of influencing the world the way that we have, the responsibility of influencing the world in the right way. I'm not saying that we always do. By any means do we always do that. But that is our responsibility as the world leaders. This government, the United States government, the United States Constitution, it was set up with the rights of the individual in mind. And there was a mechanism inserted in the Constitution that would allow for the elimination of slavery. Okay? That was started by the British, and we eventually got rid of it. We paid for it with a lot of blood. We paid to get rid of it. And our system of government was set up with the idea that government can't do certain things to the individual. It was set up with the idea that we have balance of powers. The government can't infringe on certain rights. No branch could become dominant over all the others. No person, no group of people can become dominant over all the others. It's limited government. However imperfect men and women have been throughout history, the truth that we all believe is that we are all equal and that we are all deserving of respect and dignity. And what we have tried to create in this civilization, in this country, on this continent, is a system of government that recognizes and respects the inherent value. The government is not responsible for giving value to the individual. That's a very important point that I want to make. I've mentioned in a previous video the ideology that's infiltrated the United States and brainwashed many people on college campuses, in the media. It's an ideology that overpromises, underdelivers. As a matter of fact, it leads to hell on earth. It promises equality. It promises utopia. And I want to expose what I think is a very basic point. This ideology that is obsessed with power is promising ideology. It promises equality. I'm sorry. If you are promising equality, what you are asserting is that you are not equal already. The government does not have the power to make people equal. It does not have the power to do that. These people who are possessed of this leftist ideology, there has to be inequality. People have to be unequal in their minds in order for them to provide this good, this government provided good that is equality. That is what they are promising. Equality of outcome, equality of everything. The results are always atrocious whenever a culture attempts to make that happen, because it can only be done by force. Equality of outcome can only be done by force. And the simple thing that I wanted to say is, all people are equal. All people are deserving of respect and dignity equally. And these people who are promising equality, you are operating under the assumption that people are not equal, and that you are going to bring the solution that brings equality. It cannot be done. All people are equal. And identity politics is a very dangerous thing. It's a very dangerous thing. It creates hate. It breeds hate. People are naturally deserving of respect. That's what we believe here. These people who are promising equality, they're con artists. They're obsessed with power. And what they need is they need people who are victims, who feel like victims, who have been convinced that they are not equal, who have been convinced that they are victims somehow, victims of some other group. These people need to delegate power to the government, to the state. They are relying on the government to provide all these answers, to provide equality. They are operating under the assumption that people are not equal. People are equal. And government is what will abuse people's natural rights when left unchecked. That is what history has taught us. That is what our founders knew. That is what they took into consideration when they gave us this republic and entrusted it to future generations. And it allowed us to have the lifestyles that we have. And our standard of living is extremely good compared to not just modern times, but all of human history. And it's because when a people are free to do what they were born to do, free to pursue their desires, to pursue happiness, to pursue money, to pursue wealth, to pursue abundance. There is no one pie that gets divided. There is not one pie. There is not this limited supply. We have been given infinite abundance by providence. There is not one pie. We create more pies. And if your pie gets doubled and somebody else gets 1,000,000 pies, don't get jealous of the person who gets 1,000,000 pies. You now have 2 pies and you only had 1. There's this illusion that there's one pie and it gets split up amongst everyone. And we have to take from other people because they've taken from us this false narrative, this dangerous narrative that leads to murder. It leads to undermining elections. It leads to thought police. It leads to people getting labeled as sexist and racist and bigoted and thrown in prison. This is not new. This is not new. This has happened before. The exact same thing has happened before. People are innately worthy of dignity and respect. And the more we delegate to the government the right to decide who lives and who dies, whether it's a baby at 9 months about to be born, whether it's a baby who's already been born, whether it's an elderly person with a certain condition, that list of people will expand with this ideology. Once people become used to it, once people become used to these ideas, that list will grow. This ideology creeps in slowly and quietly at first, but it's a cancer, and it will take over the whole organism. We have been given the greatest republic in human history. We should be grateful. We should not squander this inheritance. All people are equal, and the government cannot make people equal.